A quick disclaimer, this video is not to be watched unless you watch this video and this video first. It is imperative that you watch these first before watching this, otherwise it makes no sense. You can only contextualize and make a proper judgment of this video by watching these two videos first. Just don't say I didn't warn you or didn't give you any context. That being said, here we go. Tekken 4 Jin 214, safe on block. Tekken 5 Jin 214, safe on block. Tekken 6 Jin 214, safe on block. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Jin 214, safe on block. Tekken 7 Jin 214, safe on block. Season 2 Tekken 8 Jin 214, unsafe on block. It's over. Jin as a character, as a concept, as a distinct identity is officially dead in Tekken 8. The last remnant, that last sliver of traditional Jin gameplay is gone for good in Tekken 8. And what follows is an unrecognizable alien travesty that has no place in traditional Jin gameplay. It's over. And it is over because of Tekken influencers who lie to you and disinform you about Jin non-stop. Lie non-stop about the properties of his moves. People who created a moral panic campaign against this character. And now what we get is a mischaracterized alien travesty that has absolutely nothing to do with traditional Jin gameplay. So let's cover this travesty in depth. So what is the deal with Jin 214 and why did they get this move so wrong in Tekken 8 when conceiving it and then subsequently nerfing it? You will find all the answers in forensic detail here in this video, but it's up to you to watch it. The thing is, Tekken 8 Jin 214 received an alien property that wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. It's an alien property that never existed in this string, and it wasn't a welcome addition. I'm referring to the counter hit knockdown property on the third hit of 214. This never existed. Ever since Tekken 4, Jin 214 never knocked down the opponent on the third hit. This was an alien novelty that came to exist in Tekken 8 and simply had to go for balancing reasons. Even without the counter hit knockdown property, Jin 214 would remain his absolute best move in Tekken 8. Three things define traditional Jin gameplay. 2-1, neutral dominance and reactive gameplay. That is what we understand as Jin Kazama gameplay. Finding perfect answers through reflex and ideal decision making. There were two factors making Jin 214 extremely overpowered and unbalanced in Tekken 8. The first is the alien novelty of the counter hit knockdown on the third hit that should have never been there to begin with. The second is a systematic problem within Tekken 8 that is the incapacity to create whiffs. But I won't delve deep into it right now because, once again, you can find all about it here. So, now we have an alien novelty that is not supposed to be there to begin with. And what do? By they I mean the psychopaths at Namco. They maintain the alien property that wasn't even supposed to be there to begin with. And they profane the frame data of a trademark move that has been the same for decades. You can't make this shit up, bro. And they've done this out of sheer spite. That is what really ticks me off. The proof that they are doing this out of spite will come later in the video. And now what we get in return is a travesty of an alien package with fake full crouch mix-ups that he's not even supposed to have to begin with, and more devil-powered acrobatic bullshittery that completely deviates from the Kyokushin Karate Jin we used to know and appreciate. Once again, I need to stress, this has nothing to do about nerfs or buffs. This has nothing to do about power levels or tier placements. I couldn't care less about power levels and tier placement. I played this character regardless of his version from Tekken 4 to Tekken 8 so far, because he used to faithfully represent my martial art in real life. But the thing is, for instance, Tekken 5 Jin is Jin. Despite him being taken as a joke character in that game, I don't see it like that. I'm fully able to appreciate that character. I'm able to rejoice playing that character. Moreover, I'm able to make that character work properly, despite the fact they intentionally bombarded him with nerfs coming from Tekken 4, making his low game completely dysfunctional, essentially turning the character into a joke character on the tier lists. I could still make him work, because his reactive gameplay, his identity, was still fully respected. The traditional, universalizing effectiveness of his parry was still there, so the infinite reactive potential was still there. So, this is not about nerfs, buffs, or tier placement. Since we haven't seen the full patch notes yet, we can't tell for certain. There's even a remote possibility that after these changes he became a stronger character, due to him having actual hit utility in a game where hit is basically everything, and the potential of his lows being more widely distributed. But even if that's the case, I couldn't care less, because I don't recognize my character anymore. Yes, he's got useful stuff. Yes, he now has an actual heat state. His heat state is not a single silver bullet anymore. But ultimately, this is not Jin anymore. They mischaracterized the character to the point it's barely Jin gameplay anymore. Congratulations, the main man. You really outdone yourself. You got what you wanted. We now get an ineffective parry without his traditional universalizing effectiveness of the past. We don't get the neutral dominance of traditional Jin F4, which had 1/3 of his range castrated in Tekken 8. And now we also don't get to have a safe 2-1-4 like he always had since Tekken 4. You see, I've made a bet with my friends that not only you would advocate for this mischaracterized alien travesty that they gave us for Tekken 8 Jin, but that you would celebrate it as well.
Oh shit, like this one is gonna be make it or break it for me.
代表的な逆アンツあるけどこれマイナス9だったら
Minus 10.
マイナス10になった
This was minus 9.
代
Damn!
表的な逆アンツあるけどこれマイナス9だったらマイナス10になった
This was
Super
minus
nice.
9. Is now minus 10.
Super nice.
で2RP
So I'm assuming the countered property stays, but it's minus 10. So that's a great change.
で
You see, at this very moment, he had the opportunity to display some dignity and stress. Alright, Jin 214 had to be nerfed. A nerf was warranted, but we have to do it the right way. We have to respect the character's tradition, what he always was, but no, he celebrated the maintenance of an alien novelty that was never supposed to exist from the beginning, while at the same time butchering the frame data of a trademark move, of an identitarian move that has been established as such for decades already. The reason being, he pathologically hates this character and everything he stands for in this game. All his talk about preserving and respecting character identities and core gameplay never applies to Jin. He never holds Jin to the same standards he holds for the characters he likes. I objectively proved this time and time and time and time again in the past.
As soon as you start talking about delayed timings, you are talking about very advanced stuff. Like, that is high-level stuff. You delay your timing and you wait. And you also put yourself at risk doing that. What if the opponent challenges your frames? Just delay timing, brah. It doesn't really cut it either. What you're talking about here is really advanced gameplay. That's high-level gameplay. I know you're gonna sidewalk, so I'm gonna wait it out and then attack. I beat you in terms of time. You think most people are just gonna let you wave dash in their face? Most people do not block in Tekken 8. They are relentlessly fucking aggressive. They're just not going to respect that unless you, with very strong gameplay, have conditioned them into blocking. But I don't know what players you're playing against where round, fight, and they just look at you. I haven't seen that in Tekken 8 so far.
You see, when I show Kazuya making his FF2, for example, negate and kill the anti-Kazuya counterplay, the moment I've proved Kazuya cultists lied about Kazuya's Casino Wave 50-50 being option selectable, the main man immediately goes like,
well, but if we're entering the realm of realignment tags and delayed timings, we're talking about high-level, big-brain, nuanced gameplay. People don't respect you in Tekken 8. Plus frames, turn, everyone presses.
yada 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 yada, you know how it goes. And that is when we catch him red-handed, because he doesn't ever hold Jin to the same standards for the very same thing he's advocating for Kazuya. You can't make this shit up, bro. When a Jin player delays his timings, goes multiple wave realignment, goes movement versus movement in order to realign his FF2 and respond to movement, now suddenly it's not high-level, big-brain, nuanced gameplay, but rather
it's
monkey
mode,
streamlined offense that covers so many of your defensive utility.
Kazuya is still a Tekken 7 character, but somehow is allowed to exist in Tekken 8. Kazuya plays Legacy Tekken still, but he still plays very clean, very honest, I'm going to outplay you Tekken. Jin is allowed Tekken 8 offense. And what do I mean by this, him being a Tekken 8 character? It's streamlined offense. I do my demon pull, boom! There's nothing you can do about it. You basically can't step it.
When Jin has to expose himself with delay timings, wave realignment, or movement versus movement in order to realign and make his FF2 track, that whole
people don't respect you in Tekken 8. People mash, plus frames, turn.
That whole premise goes down the drain, is magically swept under the rug. So you see, Kazuya runs the constant risk of being interrupted by monkey mashers when trying to realign FF2. But magically, Jin doesn't. When it comes to Jin, it's Jin option selects you with his offense. The whole process of exposing yourself to death when doing so, exactly like Kazuya, is magically never mentioned or ever considered by this dude, bro. Straight up, rules for D, but not for me. You legit, unironically believe the monkey Alisa only presses on Kazuya that she will mid-homing power crush or monkey back 3+4 on your plus frames, but not mine. Only your plus frames are challenged. Only your turn is challenged. But Jin's aren't. Like, how biased and out of touch can someone be, bro? It is always Jin with this guy, bro. He deliberately refuses to apply to Jin the same standards he applies to his own character, even though the technique is literally the same. The application is literally the same. And both moves are sibling moves with the exact same application. The only anomaly here being Kazuya is the one not supposed to have it, actually. And the guy who's supposedly all about
reinforcing core gameplay and identity
conveniently slips on this. And let it be known, I'm not hostile to Kazuya having FF2, even though I'm fully aware he's not supposed to have this. Unlike the main man and Kazuya cultist, I bear no ill will to Kazuya. He had the opportunity to stress, well, if they were gonna nerf it, the most reasonable route would be to revert it to its traditional standards of power. But no, he went the opposite direction. He celebrated the design direction that goes against Jin's tradition. All his talk about respecting Legacy Jin and even supposedly admiring Legacy Jin is bullshit. Because when he has the opportunity to advocate for a more traditional Jin, a more legacy-like Tekken 8 Jin, this is what he does. He goes directly against tradition. But the problem is, you can't really talk about how to nerf a character the right way because you don't know the character. You don't lab him, you don't really know him in depth. You don't really know what is making Jin 214 unbalanced in Tekken 8. You don't really know. For example, when you say he option selects you with his offense, it's living proof that you don't know the character beyond surface level knowledge. The moment you claim there is no counterplay to his offense, you don't really lab him defensively. To grasp what is truly wrong with Jin 214 in this game. And yeah, there is something wrong about Jin 214 in Tekken 8. It really had to be nerfed. I personally advocated for that over and over and over again. But at least I know the true reasons. It's not hating a character for the sake of hating. Somehow, for some godforsaken reason, it's always Jin to you. You happen to have great, fair, reasonable takes on many characters. Except Jin, specifically. It has always been like this, and it's clearly not ever changing. So, you see, you're unironically celebrating a character having his identitarian trademark for 25 years butchered. Why would you do that, man? Just why would someone do that, man? That good old Schadenfreude, yeah? What people don't seem to understand is that such things are fleeting. These things are fleeting, man. Today, it's Jin getting his identitarian trademark disrespected and butchered for good. Tomorrow, it might damn well be your character. Because if they can do what they did on Jin, then it's open season on everyone. They can damn well do it to your character as well. I wonder how the main man would feel and react if they made the Mishima Flash Punch the strongest move in Tekken since 1994 and the Mishima Identitarian trademark into not confirmable anymore, not delayable anymore, and the second hit being -9 on block. Now, if you want 112, you have to fully commit to a fast 112 without confirming it. And if you stop on the second hit, you are -9. I wonder how you would feel about it, the main man. How you would react to it. I could bet my entire old school video game collection that you would appeal to the Mishima identity and tradition in order to protest that. You would be protesting that like crazy, non-stop. You would make sure to stir up the community and make a commotion in order for Namco to change that. And guess what? I would be at your side. I would defend your cause. Because unlike you, I truly respect core gameplay and character identities, including the characters I don't like. Instead, when it comes to Jin specifically, you celebrate it. That's the difference between you and me. But while we're at it, let's just keep going, because now it's open season on everyone. Let's make King's command throws breakable by their matching break animations. King doesn't get the power to mask throw break animations anymore. If he goes Giant Swing, it's not a 1 break anymore. It's a 1+2 break. If he goes Shining Wizard, it's a 1+2 break as well. You don't have to break King's throws contextually anymore. Now you can react to his animations. I wonder how King players would feel about that. Let's also make Xiaoyu AOP, her Phoenix stance, a meter high crush instance. Not unlike Jin's Zen, for example. What I mean by that is, no more mid evasion, bros. Now it will only behave as a stylized crouch state. If I go down forward 1 check here, she will not crush my down forward 1 check. I wonder how Xiaoyu players would feel about that.
Oh, but my identity. It's Xiao's gameplay. She always had that.
Let's also make Lily's anti-move list evasion not anti-move list anymore. Her lateral movement is now turned down to normal Tekken standards. If I use a tracker that specifically tracks left, she gets caught by moving left. No more mid-homing crush and simultaneous auto-low parry anymore.
Oh, but movement is her identity. You can't change that, you can't touch that.
Let's also make Steve back 1 not a counter hit launcher anymore. It will become a counter hit knockdown for the guaranteed FF2. Let's also make Claudio back 1 the most perfect and flawless move in Tekken from -5 to -9 on block. There will be no space creation on block anymore. No nuance allowed anymore. You cannot move, you cannot space, you cannot challenge after a blocked back 1. You will have to take a 50-50 at -9 up close when back 1 is blocked. I wonder how Claudio players would feel about that.
Oh, but back 1 is his identity. Please, Harada. Harada, don't do this, Harada.
Let's also make Nina down forward 1-2 the most broken move in Tekken 8. Not jail anymore. We're cutting evil directly from its root. No more infinite turns and the permanent threat of a collection of complementary counter-hit launchers that literally cover for each other.
And while we're at it, hello to you as well, Brian Bros. Let's make Brian's taunt +13 instead of +16. Bye bye, taunt shot upper and taunt back 4. Excluding the fact 99% of Brian players cannot taunt shot upper. I wonder how you guys would still feel about that.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Where's my taunt shot upper, bro? Harada, what is the meaning of this? What the fuck? I want destruction. I want chaos. We're gonna riot. They're gonna pay for this.
In a sense, I'm happy for you, Mayman, because you really got what you wanted. Like, you won. You lied so much about Jin. You tainted the community's perception on this character so much. You lied about properties of his moves. Your efforts did pay off. Unlike mine, who was longing and fighting so hard for a more traditional Jin gameplay for Tekken 8 Jin future. So I have no choice but to congratulate you for that. Your efforts did pay off, unlike mine. Now we get an even further mischaracterized Jin. But do be careful of what you wish for. We'll be talking about that later on.
トルネードじゃなくなってます。
Still +4, still 22.
コンボいけなくなりました。
Oh, this is counter!
So you can't.
Oi, 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 well done. They completely removed the counter hit property.
2RP この下段これのカウンターが
Oh my god, but oh god. It does nothing on counter hit.
この下段
Same as normal hit. Oh man, that is incredible.
Remember I told you guys in the beginning, this was done out of spite? Let's talk about Jin down 2 then. I want to start by stressing this move should not exist to begin with. Period. From the very beginning, I have been a staunch advocate for the deletion of this move. But I knew this wasn't reasonable. This wasn't feasible. This move isn't going anywhere. They invested their time and effort to create a new animation, a new asset, etc. To call for the deletion of this move is simply unreasonable. So if I can't advocate for the deletion of this move, what did I personally propose then? The most obvious, logical, and beautiful route to nerf this move was to make it a counter hit plus 13 to guarantee while standing 1-3-2-1-4-2, Kazama Ryu Hengeki. Considering Kazama Ryu Hengeki was made into a while standing Punisher, whereas down 2 recovers crouching, both moves were tailor-made for each other. It would be the coolest, most badass, most satisfying nerf ever. I would personally rejoice it as a Kyokushin karateka myself. This move embodies Kyokushin karate. But of course, we can't count on Namco to make the most logical and the most beautiful design decisions, right? We have to always expect the absolute worst, and that is what we got. Every design decision regarding Jin's login in this new update is wrong top to bottom. How can these people get everything wrong? They don't understand their own creations. They don't understand Jin as a character. But I digress. What is Tekken 8 Jin Down 2? Tekken 8 Jin Down 2 is a reactable chunky low that had ridiculously over-dimensioned properties, such as tracking very well even to its weak side when used from a distance, and on top of it all, a counter hit launcher. This was very over-dimensioned, considering this move, depending on the matchup and when used with surgical precision, could provide you insane results. But the thing is, this move was not a low poke. This move is reactable at high level Tekken. Verifiably so, as I did time and time and time and time and time again. But let's see what they've done with it. Tekken 8 Jin Down 2 is still reactable, it is still minus 14, and it has no counter hit properties whatsoever. Remember I told you they've done this out of spite? So there we have it. There is absolutely no low in Tekken from this very same category that has no counter hit property whatsoever at minus 14 on block.
Vambora! Vamos lá! Hora de mudar de ritmo! Vambora!
And then there's the down back 4 situation. Jin down back 4 was traditionally, historically, his key low. It's a Kyokushin Karate Gedan Mawashi Giri, a textbook Kyokushin low kick. Jin down back 4 has an identical counterpart in Kazuya down back 4 and Kazumi down back 4 in nature and application. They are chunky, low pokes with their hurtbox fully exposed, meaning they have no evasion, crushing, or any evasive property whatsoever from frame 1 to frame 20. But unlike Kazuya down back 4 and Kazumi down back 4, Jin down back 4 wasn't minus 12 on block. Instead, it was minus 13 on block. But wait a minute. If they're identical in nature and application, why is Jin down back 4 worse than Kazuya down back 4 in every department? Frame advantage on hit, negativity on block, tracking, and also not hitting grounded. There was a reason Jin down back 4 amassed all these undesirable properties for a low. The reason it was worse than everyone else's, it's because it was a fucking counter hit launcher that more than justified it in being so shitty in other departments. It's because it was a fucking counter hit launcher, making it the absolute best low from the -13 category. The fact that it was a fucking counter hit launcher superseded every negative aspect that came with this low. The fact that it was -13 instead of -12, the fact that it could be sidewalked to both sides, the fact that it was +3 instead of +4 to +5, and the fact that it did not hit grounded. There was a reason for all that. But then this low kept getting progressively worse and worse and worse as time passed, until we got to Tekken 8, where this happened. Tekken 8 Jin down back 4 amasses all the undesirable properties of a -12 low, while not having any rewards whatsoever of a -13 low. And what is the reason traditional Jin's low game was made so shitty in Tekken 8? Tekken 8 Jin down 2.
Joke. Joke.
Marvelous! Brilliant! Marvelous!
So, they wanted to make a statement, they went completely overkill on down 2 out of spite. There's simply no -14 low with no properties whatsoever in this game, so they went completely overkill. But the question that remains is, what have they done with Jin's key lows such as down back 4? Since he doesn't even have traditional down 3-3 anymore, which was his most important low besides down 4 for high level Tekken. That remains to be seen. They can't just do this on down 2 and not do something about down back 4 being -13. It's just unsustainable. Something will have to be done about his low game. And I'm not talking about the shitty, monkey full crouch sweep. Jin is not a full crouch mix-up character. I'm talking about his key lows, his traditional low game. Down 2 is completely gone, it's overkill. The outrage is over, right? The non-stop whining is over, right? People can go home now, right? Jin gets to have an actual low game now, right? Right? I mean, something that could at least resemble the traditional low game he always had. Do we have terms? Can Jin get to be Jin once again? Are we allowed? Do we have the right to get to play Jin once again?
Scourge doesn't do anything on counter it anymore. Like these are very, very good changes. And instead, which is very fair, they say you can commit to a crouch, which takes some time, and then you can do a low that counter hit launches. But that low is launch punishable on block. It staggers on block. That is how we typically do balancing in Tekken 8. We don't allow moves to do everything and be very safe.
Have you ever seen the main man so enthusiastic in complaining about Kazuya down 1+2 in the same level of hate and vitriolic zeal he has against Jin down 2, despite the fact that Kazuya down 1+2 is much, much, much less reactable than Jin down 2, since it doesn't have a bombastic VFX literally announcing the character is gonna slash low. instead being much more subtle and having no visual effect whatsoever. Have you ever seen him displaying that amount of vitriolic hate and zeal against Kazuya The1+2? Nah, you really haven't. He might have displayed some form of criticism of Kazuya The1+2 being a counter-hit launcher in the past, but you'll never see this amount of vitriolic hate and zeal.
あとですね、これですね、この
Oh my god, are they reading my... Are we reading my list? Why does Fang get an upward 2? That is -10 with no pushback and Jin's is -7? Fixed, -10. Amazing changes on Jin. This is so good.
Imagine unironically believing or misleading your audience into believing Jin up forward 2 and Fang up forward 2 are the same. I can't even, bro. I can't even. This is blatant disinformation. And you've been doing this for more than a year already.
Oh, and they nerfed Fangway's up for 2. They're like, evasive attacks of this type, you know, stealing someone's turn. Evading, up for 2. I evade with a sidestep and I mid-punch you. Why is this safe? So they made Fangway's jab punishable. Jin's is still safe at -7. Well, Jin's is still safe. He's dodging every single fucking nerf.
Hold it! Gee, man. I wonder if there could possibly be a reason for Jin up forward 2 and Fang up forward 2, despite having a similar nature and a similar application, having a different frame data. I wonder what could possibly be the reason for that, bro. I wonder if the reason is if Jin up forward 2 doesn't do a fucking 90-degree teleport that can casually evade an universe of options the opponent throws at you. I really wonder if the reason is that Jin up forward 2 is not an universal panacea that gets you out of any problem at any cost, but rather it is a more specialized option that is only viable to respond to specific options from the opponent, not giving you the power to get out of any problem at any cost. I wonder if there could possibly be a reason that their frame data are different. It's quite convenient for you to say Jin up forward 2 is -7 on block, while the other sideways evading moves are unsafe, and claim this is somehow unbalanced, while simultaneously not ever mentioning or taking into account it doesn't have nowhere near the lateral evasion from the moves you use as comparison. Jin up forward 2 doesn't have the power to evade trackers. It has the power to evade linears, just like a regular sidestep would. It doesn't protect Jin from trackers, it doesn't protect Jin from counter hit launchers, because it doesn't change the axis. Jin is still facing the opponent when he attempts a forward 2. This is not a panacea. I can't mash this move to get out of any problem at any cost. Why do you not ever mention it? Why do you leave this information in the dark? Why, I ask you? It's because you have a personal agenda against this character. You want his to become punishable like everyone else, while his is infinitely less evasive and effective than everyone else. Are you willing to boost Jin's upward 2 evasion and effectiveness just like everyone else in order to make it unsafe just like everyone else? Oh, you don't?
Oh, I see. So this is not about balancing. This is about hating a character for the sake of hating. If you leave such a crucial information in the dark, you're maliciously misleading people into believing these moves are the same. But they're not the same. It's quite easy and convenient to do that, because people won't care to do their own research on this. It's so easy to mislead and fool people, man. So easy. What is not easy is to bring the truth into light. Is to single-handedly undo the damage and the disservice you did. And now, here's the end product of your non-stop disinformation. Jin up forward 2 doesn't get nowhere near the evasion of the other evasive punishable moves. But now, Jin pays like everyone else without being able to evade like everyone else.
Congratulations, my man. You got what you wanted. You must feel really proud of yourself. Lying about this character non-stop and deceiving the community about him. I'm only making this video because many friends asked me to. Some Jin players themselves, others not exactly. They said, man, you have to do something about it. You have to speak your mind on this issue. What I keep telling them is, it's pretty much a Sisyphean effort. No matter what I do about it, the damage you've caused on this character is nearly beyond repair. The entire community's perception on Jin Kazama has been poisoned and twisted because of you. There are people using quote-unquote Jin player, Jin main as a derogatory argument to personally attack people and immediately dismiss their claims. As if Jin, including Tekken 8 Jin, his most popular and accessible version in Tekken history, doesn't have the highest skill ceiling in the Tekken franchise by very far. A skill ceiling that your character, Kazuya, couldn't even dream of having. The fact that the community treats traditional Jin players who were longing and fighting for a more traditional Jin for the future, by the way, with disdain and disrespect is all because of you. Unfortunately, your hate and disinformation campaign on this character single-handedly caused this, whether you being aware of it or not. So, no matter what I do, the damage is pretty much beyond repair. That being said, I'll still try to make the most out of what they have given us. If I'm being honest myself, ultimately, when the chips are down, there's a possibility I might start to warm my heart to 214 unsafe on block. Because despite the difficulties it will obviously create, it's when we lose something precious that we start appreciating even more what we still have. What I mean by that is that I will cherish and appreciate the privilege of still having 2-1. Because 2-1 in itself is amazing. At -3 on block, there's so much nuance to play around here.
and the threat of the counter hit knockdown on the third hit will be still there, even though it shouldn't from the very beginning. But if they decided to go for the mistaken route, at least we get to enjoy the upside of it. The fact that 2-1-4 is unsafe now makes you appreciate the existence of 2-1 in itself as it is more than ever, guys. What will happen to an unsafe 2-1-4 in a high-level gameplay environment? There will be two conflicting factors at play here now. 1. Some players, according to context and circumstance, will be patient and attempt to wait out on you to resort to the third hit in order to punish you. If the guy is good and understands anti-Jin defense, he will backdash in every blocked 2-1 and wait out for you to resort to the third kick and punish your -10. 2. Other players within another context and circumstance will understand you're less likely to being too liberal with the third kick. They understand you have to refrain from using the third kick in order to not get punished consistently. So, armed with that knowledge, they will feel more tempted, more encouraged to challenge a blocked 2-1. Now the opponent has more reasons to feel encouraged to press on your 2-1 on block. But even if that's the case, not all hope is lost, guys. Remember I told you guys we have to rejoice and appreciate 2-1 in itself. Here's why. The fact that 2-1 in itself is only -3 on block restricts so much of the possible challenges the opponent might throw at you. Because of it being -3, and also because of your options, what Jin has at his disposal organically limits the challenging options from your opponent that have the potential to be successful. A -3 on block 2-1 already does that for you. That is why we have to appreciate it and rejoice it. Let me show you. Because of the looming threat of 2-1 into 2-1, the opponent has to carefully reconsider his options. His options will usually be limited to fast options. So you have the organic power to restrict his nuke options. Hear me out. There is a very real, tangible possibility that, despite the nerfs Jin received that disrespected his core gameplay and character identity, that he comes out even stronger than before. A much more viable character for the Tekken 8 meta. But the thing is, even if that is the case, even if Jin got stronger than before, I do not appreciate it. Because he's mischaracterized and they are pushing him in a direction that is not Jin Kazama gameplay. So, the conditions for Jin to come out stronger from this patch depend on 1. How Omen 4, his Omen Hell Sweep, will behave, and his Omen game in itself. 2. The overall state of his low game after the Trojan Horse down 2 is finally gone for good. Let's start then with Jin's Omen. Because now, with the addition of FF1+2, that bullshit Devil Jin-like move, Jin now has an actual existing heat state. He can access Omen from open space. Being able to have a heat state like everyone else is a game changer. Heat, unfortunately, is everything in this game. Neutral means jack shit. With creation it's impossible because this game is systematically flawed, and Tekken defense is obsolete. So
Jin having an actual hit state instead of a single silver bullet that is his hit smash or hit dash will be a game changer. But the priority here is to understand how Omen 4, his Hell Sweep, will behave, because the only thing that we know so far is that the second hit from the Hell Sweep is minus 14 on block. Now, what we have to know is, if Jin has the option to go for Omen 4, a single Hell Sweep, or Omen 4-4, the Hell Sweep followed by the mid spinning X kick. If Jin has the power to choose between going for the single low or going for the low mid, then it's huge. That would be something else. That is hit utility. He becomes a Tekken 8 character. Because the Omen 4 Hell Sweep doesn't stagger on block, it means the opponent would have to decide between trying to launch the Hell Sweep and getting hit by the mid follow-up, or standing up to block the mid and giving up the launch punish on the Hell Sweep. That would be massive. Now, say the move doesn't work that way. If Jin presses Omen 4 and both kicks, the low and the mid, automatically come out, then people would have nothing to worry about. I mean, it would still be nice, but it would be nowhere near the apocalyptical standards of heat power from the other characters. But if he has the freedom to choose between going for the low or the low mid, then it's massive, and people should really worry about it. Now, about his low game, all we know so far is the monkey full crouch sweep and his stance low Zen 1+2 have been accelerated. As of Season 1, both his full crouch sweep and Zen 1+2 were essentially non-options. Zen 1+2 in particular was so reactable, that I took that as a joke move. Don't get me wrong, this move is beautiful. Actually, it's the most beautiful low in Tekken 8. Nothing can even come close to compare to it. That is karate. But this move is as beautiful as it was a joke. You simply couldn't use this move. It was a 24 frames Shuto Uchi, in which Jin literally raises his knife hand to announce he's gonna go low. If you are familiar with Jin's options inside Zen, there was no way you weren't reacting to 10 in 10 of Zen 1+2. For God's sake, it was even more reactable than Jin down 2. It was basically a non-option. Now, apparently, it's not a non-option anymore. Before, anyone could easily react to Zen 1+2. Now, you can be sure not everyone will be able to react to it. So, for the vast majority of the player base, you could say Jin's Zen game will start to finally exist instead of being relegated to mids or highs. If Jin Zen 1+2 starts to finally exist, then his stance mids will also start to finally exist as well. So that covers Season 2 Tekken 8 Jin, guys. As you know, all my efforts were in vain. What we have now is an even further mischaracterized Jin. The exact opposite of what I fought so hard for. I personally do not like the direction they're pushing this character at all, guys. I'll still try to make the most out of it and try to have fun with Tekken 8. You can bet they didn't even have the decency to fix his non-backdash. We'll still keep moving through mud, completely unable to create the most basic, quintessential whiffs. You can be damn sure of that. It's really hard to be optimistic when all your efforts, everything you fought so hard for, was in vain in the end.
Despite that, I still love this game, and I want Tekken to thrive. I hope for a better Tekken experience in Season 2 for everyone. That all being said, I thank you guys for all the kindness and support you guys give me. If you like my Tekken content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll be seeing each other again, guys. God bless.